Hey everybody, welcome on our channel. In this video we are gonna see, what if Naruto had dual blood blending and got Harem, part 2. If you are new on the channel, don't forget to subscribe our channel and like the video too. So without wasting any more time, let's start the story. The next morning, standing at the spinning gates again, Naruto watched Korra run inside frustrated before hitting a few gates, making her start hitting the gates with her fire bending. That was 2,000-year-old historical treasure. What's wrong with you? Tenzin said, getting an eye roll before kneeling down near Jinora and her siblings. He does remember I've had to replace that 2,000-year-old historical treasure a couple dozen times, right? Naruto said, getting a nod as Jinora came close to his ear. The last time he talked about it he said it was 6,000 years old, she said, making him raise an eyebrow, shaking his head as he stood between the two before they came to trading blows. Calm down, Tenzin. I gave you a warning that you keeping her cooped up without anything to calm herself was going to bring about negative effects. I mean, Korra isn't a born air bender, it takes more effort for her to do this, and you're tossing her into the difficult stuff head first without any basics to stand on isn't helping, he said, staring Tenzin down. It just hasn't been sinking in like you said it would, Tenzin. I'm going for a walk and calm down, I'll see you on the beach to continue training, Naruto, she said, storming past Tenzin while Naruto shook his head. What's her problem? Tenzin said, getting a sigh from Naruto. You're thinking like an air bender while talking to a woman of water bender nationality but the mentality of an earth bender. In the eyes of an earth bender you're trying to move a mountain with your bare hands. It's not possible, you have to ease her into it and explain like Granny did with Aang after a while, and when you're training you try to tear her down. You need to pat her on the back, take the time to explain or show her what she's doing wrong and go from there, he said, making Tenzin stare at him. Look, come down to the beach with me and sit in on our training. I'll show you how it works, Naruto said, getting a nod from the others as they followed Naruto. At the beach. Alright Korra, we're going to work on water bending for a start. With water bending you have to be smooth and fluent with your movements while not wasting a single movement, Naruto said, walking to the water as he created two long mirrors of water that stood on either side of him. Water is the most versatile of the elements next to fire and earth, as it can not only heal but hurt. Like so, Naruto said, making the two mirrors swirl around him before a dragon made of water surged towards a tree before firing a sickle of ice at the tree, impaling it before it was swallowed by the water dragon that froze the tree solid. Before we start with the advanced stuff I want us to start off simple. I want you to get a feel for the water, go lay on your back and float in the water. Once you feel a connection I want you to calm your breathing as you allow it to guide you, and when you do create a bubble to fire out a barrage of needles, Naruto said, getting a nod from Korra as she laid on her back closing her eyes before standing with her on a platform of ice before crossing his legs watching her. You must remain calm and continue to breathe as you take action. The element of water, like fire, is a dangerous element as it can be calm at moments before it becomes a dangerous force that can decimate all in its path. For bending you can't just pick one path of the road to walk on, for you will lose balance, Naruto said as he watched Korra take deep breaths before getting up slowly, creating several medium-sized bubbles that shot out thousands of tiny needles that buried themselves in the tree close to the shore, causing it to gain cracks, making Naruto grin. You see, by feeling a connection to the element you can fully utilize that element to its fullest to where it becomes an extension of yourself. Earth, air and fire falls under this category as well, but earth is about keeping a firm grip on yourself. Lose that grip and it could be dangerous. An example would be sand, Naruto said, making the group listening raise an eyebrow. Sand? Korra said, joining him on land, getting a nod before making claws with his hand as the ground around him shook as a large ring of gravel started to crumble as it turned to sand before he jumped, standing on the sand cloud as he flew around before several tendrils flew around grabbing things before creating a large sphere of sand that expanded into several branches that stabbed the ground in a flurry. You see that, Korra? Earth, when used, can be destructive either as it is or in the form of metal or sand, Naruto explained as he saw her nod. Now instead of overloading you will work on water for a moment so you can have a better grip over it. If you have water on hand I want you to act with it as if it were second nature, same for your other elements, but since I'm not a fire bender I'm a bit useless in that field, same for air bending, but you should be able to actually draw water from around you, Naruto said, getting a chuckle from the girl. Now do what I do, Naruto said, getting in a loose stance as he brought a stream of water around him, which Korra copied as the two did a series of movements, making the water dance before he made two claws of water attached to his arms, which Korra did and started to do a series of slashes and grabs. Watching on the sidelines, Tenzin saw the training as he thought, Naruto is a good teacher with how he's guiding her, but he's no airbender. Water and earth may be his forte, but air is my field and I know best, he thought, watching Korra mess up a movement, making Naruto stop her and explain what was wrong. How about we call training for today done and finish off with some light physical training? Alright, Naruto said, getting a nod as the two stood straight as the two bent their knees, stretching, performing the style of martial arts Naruto started teaching her before they stopped resting. Republic City Arena. Hey you guys, we on time? Naruto asked with Korra nearby when they noticed the look of depression. Am I late or did the other team forfeit? I mean, the only reasons you should be looking like this is because someone died, your opponent forfeited, or some other reason like you lost already, Naruto said as he went into the locker to grab a fire ferret uniform. We might as well have. Haseok's a no good no show, he ditched us. Mako said when the judge came in. You've got 2 minutes ready to play or you're disqualified, he said before the door closed, getting a surprised expression from Naruto. Great, there goes out chance of entering the tournament and the winnings, Mako said, groaning. Why don't you ask one of them to be your replacement? Korra said, pointing to the other three boys in the room in their uniforms while trying not to eye Naruto changing into his uniform. No, they're already on a team and the rules state you can only compete on one team, Naruto said as he stood next to Korra looking at her. Why not, Korra? I've been teaching her about pro bending when we aren't busy training her earth, water and air element, why not? Naruto said, putting his hand on Korra's shoulder. But, she's the avatar, isn't that technically cheating? Bolin said, getting a shrug from Naruto. Not necessarily if she sticks with just water bending. Now it would be cheating if she used all three elements during the fight, now that would be cheating, Naruto said when Mako spoke up. Not happening, I'd rather forfeit than look like a fool out there. I already gotta work with Bei Fong, the last thing I need is to humiliate myself further by working with someone who doesn't even know the rules, Mako said, getting a glare from Korra. Wow, thanks for the vote of confidence, asshole, because if I remember correctly you need 3 members and you wouldn't be here now if Naruto didn't pull your butt out of the dragon fire last time. You want the winnings and go to the tournament we're offering, Korra said when the judge opened the door again. Time's up, you playing or no? He said as the group went silent before Mako could speak. Korra beat him to the punch. Yeah, we're in, just let me put on my uniform. She said, making Naruto raise an eyebrow at her while Mako glared. You taught me water bending, Naruto, let me show you what I can do, plus if you're helping your friend I want to do the same, she said, getting a nod from the boy before turning, allowing her to put on her uniform. I don't remember agreeing with this. Mako said, making the three stare at each other before looking at Mako. Fine, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor of Korra helping with this, raise your hand, Naruto said, getting all 3 of them to raise their hands save for Mako. All opposed? He said, getting a raised hand from the fire bender. The majority has it, we're doing this now, stop complaining, Naruto said, making the fire bender drop his head. At the center stage. It seems the fire ferrets are full of substitutions. First it's Republic City's golden boy Naruto Bei Fong substituting for Bolin, and now we have a replacement waterbender. Let's see if she's a diamond in the rough like Naruto in the last match as we enter the final qualifiers to enter the tournament. The announcer said as the 3 squared off against their opposing team. Whispering to Korra, Naruto said, just stick to what I taught you and remember, remain calm and keep a level head. Getting a nod, the judge said, players, are you ready? Blowing his whistle, the bell rung as Korra swung her leg, sending a stream of water at her opponent, knocking him off the side of the rope, getting a groan from Naruto and Mako while Korra cheered. Turning to Naruto, Mako said, I thought you taught her the rules. I didn't think something so obvious would have to be explained. Pardon the hell out of me for not thinking ahead of time to prevent that. Naruto said with an eye twitch before turning to Korra, who was still cheering. The judge, watching the moment, said, fire ferret water bender. Penalty, move back 1 zone. Why? Korra asked, getting a sigh from Naruto, making her turn to the 2 boys. You're only allowed to knock the opponent of the back of the field, Korra. Knocking them off the side is against the rules, Naruto said, getting a nervous chuckle from Korra as she moved back, making the bell ring, allowing the match to resume. Sending a whip of water at her opponent, she got pushed back slightly before jumping and sending a larger whip at her opponent with her foot standing over the line, getting another whistle from the judge. Penalty over the line. Move back to zone 3. He said, getting a growl from Korra while Naruto looked back watching her as he signaled her to keep a cool head as the bell rung. The Platypus Bears take round 1. The announcer said as the teams reset on the field before the other team focused their attacks on Korra. The Platypus Bears know a green player when they see one, and they are focusing the brunt of their attacks on this poor girl. Wherever they found her, they should send her back for a refund. The announcer said as she slowly got pushed back as Korra created blockades to stop the attacks. Regaining her footing, Korra saw the earth and fire benders send an attack at the same time, making her subconsciously bring 2 plates of earth to block the attacks, making everything freeze. Did that water bender just earth bend? The announcer said, confused, as the judge was just as confused on his call of a foul. At the temple. Did I see that right? Hold on folks, we're waiting for the judge to come up with the final call, but I think this replacement player could be the announcer said over the radio with several White Lotus members sitting around it. Pardon me, but have either of you seen Korra or Naruto? I went to check on them when I didn't find them in their rooms, Tenzin said as one of the Lotus pointed at the radio. There's no way. First there was Naruto Beifong in the match against the Tigardillos as the replacement earthbender, and now we have the avatar covering for the water bender who became a no-show. Can you believe that? Tenzin heard as his eye twitched. I'll get those 2 myself. Tenzin said, storming off to the arena. At the arena. The judge said after moments of conversing with the other judges, as he said the avatar will be permitted to play so long as she solely bends water. The other team wasn't too fond of it as the match was about to start. Naruto formed the sign a time out as he walked to Korra. Korra, I need you to understand a few rules. You can't use 2 elements at once. You can't cheat like if I crushed pieces of earth and mixed it with your water to launch it at your opponent or other things. You can't be hot-tempered in this. Remember our training and Tenzin's training and we'll pull through. Can you do that? He said, getting a nod from Korra, getting a pat on the back from Naruto as he nodded to the judge, letting the match continue. The Platypus Bears continued to focus their attacks on Korra as she ducked and dodged around their attacks while the announcer said she may be the avatar but she's no pro bender, as the Platypus Bears continued to exploit her inexperience as she gives it her best only for it to not be enough as she's knocked over the edge. Looking back, Naruto growled before brought out 2 plates and fired them at the fire bender, knocking him in the stomach as it pushed into zone 2. With Korra. Damn it, Naruto talks about keeping a level head, but it's difficult to do when I'm getting pelted by 3 benders with me being stuck with a single element, she thought, reaching the lift back to her team's starting point when she saw a familiar pair of footwear, making her look up to see the glaring face of Tenzin and Lin. Oh, hey Tenzin, Mrs. Beifong, what are you 2 doing here? She said as she pulled herself out of the water. Once again, Korra, you flagrantly disobeyed my orders. You were to stay on the island and here you are with Naruto messing around. It's a good thing I got Lin to get Naruto out of this stupid sport, Tenzin said as the 2 turned to Lin, who shrugged. I'm actually here to cheer on Naruto. He's got a knack for it, although his water bending is his better alignment. He's still holding up pretty well, she said, watching Tenzin walk off. Come on Korra, we're leaving and we're grabbing Naruto. Tenzin said, getting a glare from Korra. No. We're in the middle of something. Naruto was begged by Bolin to help and I agreed to help because they were a bender short. I'm not going to back out just because you can't stand something new or get outside your little comfort zone, Korra said as Tenzin turned back to her with Lin watching. I have tried my best to get through to you by being gentle and patient, but it seems that the only thing that gets through to you is force, so I am ordering you and Naruto to come back to the temple now. Tenzin said, getting a scoff from Korra. Gentle? Patient? Every step of our training you've done nothing but throw me into something without knowing what the hell I'm supposed to do. At least at the South Pole the White Lotus Masters would take the time to explain despite looking down on me for not standing on Aang's natural level. And what are you going to teach me anyway? To sit around the temple to meditate on how bad an airbender I am? I'm beginning to understand why I'm unable to air bend because maybe I just don't need it. Korra said, yelling at Tenzin. That's ludicrous suggestion. The avatar needs to learn air bending, it is not optional. He said, getting a negative from Korra. No, this is what I need to learn. Modern styles of fighting. She said, getting a shake of the head from Tenzin. Being the avatar is more than just fighting. When will you learn that? He said, getting silence from Korra as she walked towards the lift with Lin as they rose. The Platypus Bears win round 2. The announcer said as the two teams reset once again. Back on the field. Round 3. The announcer said as the Platypus Bear's water bender sent several blasts of water at Naruto, dodged them fluently as he fired several plates back, pushing him into the second zone before Naruto was pushed back by the fire bender. Getting overwhelmed, both the water and earth benders pushed Naruto and Mako to a corner as they tried to regain their footing. The Platypus Bears quickly come out of the gate and put their focus on the main threat of Naruto and Mako as they struggle to get their bearing as they're wedged in the edge of Zone 1, unable to help the avatar. Looking out of the corner of his eye as he saw the fire and earth bender put their focus on Korra, Naruto ducked under the stream, launching a plate at the water bender, pushing him back as Naruto and Mako struggled to catch up. Getting pushed back, Korra thought back to what Naruto said, keep calm and remember all of my training from Naruto and Tenzin, let's give it a try. Fire Ferret's booth. Looks like the Avatar's pro bending debut is going to be cut short as she's pushed back to Zone 3. The group of 3 heard as Tenzin covered his face walking away while Lin and Bolin watched. Korra balanced herself on the edge. You might want to see this, Tenzin. Lin said as she made the bald air bender turn to see Korra twist and turn around the strikes. Hold the phone. She's still in the game, folks, and she's moving like an entirely different player. All of a sudden the Platypus Bears' strikes are only hitting air. The announcer said as Korra danced around the strikes. How about that, Tenzin said, amazed as he watched Korra move. Arena stage. The Platypus Bears are out of steam while Naruto and Mako are still in the game as the two get on the offensive. Everyone saw as Naruto and Mako nodded to each other as they pushed the exhausted team around and over the edge, winning them the match. The Fire Ferrets come from way behind and steal the win. What a huge upset, folks. If you thought their last match was a nail-biter, then this will have surely put you over the edge of your seats as they land themselves a place in the tournament. The announcer said as Naruto and Korra celebrated while Mako walked over. Korra, that was amazing. I apologize for being a hard ass back there and thank you for helping us when we were in a pinch. You really came alive in that round, he said, getting a chuckle from the two. Thanks, but I can't take all the credit. I've had a few amazing teachers, Korra said as she punched Naruto in the shoulder, getting a chuckle from him when he heard a cough behind them as they saw Lin and Tenzin. Hey mom, Tenzin, I guess you saw. He said, getting a nod from the two and Korra. I'm impressed, Naruto, and I'm proud you stood to your beliefs and helped your friend and you helped them qualify for the tournament, Lin said, hugging her son, making him do the same before they pulled apart. Well, you did tell me to stand by my friends when in need, you know, he said as she nodded when Bolin swung his good arm around Naruto's neck, hugging him and doing the same for Korra and Mako. We're going to the tournament. I can't believe it, this is amazing and the winnings will be greatly appreciated, Bolin said, getting a nod from his brother as they waved goodbye as he walked out with his brother to celebrate. How about we head home, Tenzin said, getting a shrug from the others as they were about to walk home. Actually, I wanted to try something first, Korra said as they stared at her with a curious expression before relenting. At the Airbender Temple. Watching the White Lotus guards replace the gates, Korra said, Tenzin, I wanted to apologize about everything I said. I was really frustrated with myself and I took it out on you when you were just trying to help, she said, getting a shake of the head from Tenzin. I should apologize as well. I was trying to teach you about patience and I ended up losing mine in the process. Naruto was right, I was throwing you into the field without the proper tools to survive it, expecting you to get it like me and my children because you have airbender blood in you. You're not a natural born airbender. You're a water bender, and I forgot that, he said, getting a smile from Korra as she hugged him, which he returned. By the way, Lin and I saw your match, you two were amazing pro bending. Isn't as bad as I thought it was after I gave it a chance to see for myself, he said, getting a chuckle from the two benders. After the guards put the gates in place, the two turned to see Naruto and Lin standing to the side. Standing in front of the gates, Tenzin created a strong gust as the three watched Korra stand at the gates before taking a breath as he eased her way into the gate, dancing around the gates in the same manner as he did in the match, while Naruto watched the light of the moon dance on her deeply tanned skin. Coming out on the other side, Naruto and admittedly Lin applauded Korra on her display as she walked over to them as Tenzin patted her on the shoulder. "Good job Korra, you move just like an air bender," he said, making the water tribe girl blush from the praise as Lin bent down to whisper in her son's ear. "How do you think Tenzin is going to act when he learns that you two are a part of the Fire Ferrets permanently?" she said, getting a chuckle from Naruto. "I'm willing to wager a couple of gold pieces that says it won't be well, although I'm more so a sub in case either Korra or Bolin are out of commission because the finals are in a couple of weeks, enough time for him to heal his arm and train. This is more so for Korra to have an outlet for her frustrations and relax. Did you know he tried to control her bathroom schedule?" Penma had to draw the line at that point, threatening him with him having to sleep in another room if he tried it, Naruto said, getting a chuckle from Lin. "Do you think I can stay here with all of you?" she said, getting a shrug from him as he said. "You just want to have my cooking," Naruto said, getting a shrug from her in return as they walked to the main part of the tower for some sleep. Catching a worn brown leather medicine ball, Korra asked with irritation playing on her face. "Want to remind me why we're practicing so early? It's evil. Naruto has to launch me out of my bed with earth bending. I wouldn't have to bend your bed if you got up in time for training. Besides, if I didn't, Tenzin would nag your ear off," Naruto said, wearing his training clothes, leaning against the wall as he drew a blush from Korra as she admitted he was the better of the two options. As she pushed the ball back to Bolin as he tossed it to Mako, he said, "Since we're rookies we naturally get the worst time slot in the gym." As Mako turned to Korra, he said, pushing it towards the avatar, "And you're the rookiest of us all. If we want to survive in the tournament we got to get you up to speed, because I doubt the ref is going to let you get away with you launching a guy over the side of the field or using more than one element, so deal with it." Catching it, she glared at the fire bender before pushing it with extra force towards Mako, saying, "You deal with it." As he caught it he went tumbling back when the group of four heard the gym doors open as they heard, "There are my hard-working little street urchins." Putting a hand on Korra's shoulder, the man said, "It's nice to finally meet you, Avatar." Confused, she asked, "And you are?" Giving a chuckle, he introduced himself as he took off his hat. "The name is Botaka, I run the whole pro bending shebang." As he reached into his coat pocket he said, pulling out a large stack of bills, "Here's your winnings from the last match." With a grin, Mako was about to pocket the money before Botaka stopped him, listing off fines such as Korra's uniform, training equipment and rentals, his and Bolin's rent and groceries, leaving nothing left, getting a blank expression from Naruto. As Botaka was about to walk away he said, "Oh, one more thing, the Fire Ferrets need to tie up 30,000 yuans for the championship pot." Flabbergasted, Bolin exclaimed, 30,000 yuans. We can barely make 25 in pocket change." Hearing this, Taka gained a sympathetic expression as he patted the boy's shoulder, saying, "I'm sorry kids, really, you got till the end of the week to come up with the money or you're out of the competition." As Taka walked away, Naruto and Korra stood next to Mako and Bolin as Bolin looked to Korra, asking, "You wouldn't happen to have some secret stash of treasure or goods you or your past lives had lying around, would ya?" Pulling at the lining of her pockets she said, "Sorry, I'm broke." As the others turned to Naruto he sighed, scratching the back of his head, saying, "I may be the lieutenant but my pockets aren't 30,000 yuans deep, man. At the most I can bum ya 9,000, 10 at the most. I'm looking for my own place since I'm getting to the age of living on my own." Picking up the medicine ball in his carrying bag, Mako said, "At least you got something." Feeling like a bastard, Naruto said, "Sorry man, I didn't mean to say it like that." Giving a shake of the head, Bolin said, "It's cool Naruto, we know you didn't mean it like that. Besides, you know that after you helped Mako and I out after our parents died, the two of us have been on our own." Having a moment of silence, Naruto said, clapping his hands, "Hey, let's get over this funk, we gotta brainstorm on how to make 21,000 yuans. Excitedly, Bolin said, holding up Pabu, his and Mako's pet fire ferret. "I've been training Pabu to do circus tricks and people would pay some good money to see him do tricks." Raising an eyebrow, Naruto looked at Korra and Mako before he said, Not to burst your bubble, pal, and not that it isn't a grand idea, but at the most you'd make within the time frame is just under 300 to 500 yuan, that's counting if you can attract them or keep them entertained." "I suppose you're right Naruto," Bolin said as his pet ferret rubbed its head under his chin. "I'll figure something out, I always do, Mako said, getting a bland look from Naruto as he shook his head. How about we go for a walk and get a bite to eat? Naruto suggested as he got a positive from Korra while Bolin shook his head. Nah, I'm going to try and think of a way to make some money, you guys go on ahead, he said, getting a raised eyebrow from Naruto. Alright man, but you can always stop by the temple since that's where I'm staying, man, stay out of trouble, Naruto said, getting a fist bump from Bolin before Naruto and Korra walked off. At the ramen stand. Watching Korra polish off her 12th bowl of ramen while Naga downed her 4th, Naruto couldn't help but sweat drop at the sight, thinking, is this how Uncle Twinkle Toes feels when he used to take me out for ramen when I was a kid? I mean, I even used to take Jinora out for ramen when she was little and not even she ate this much. Going to his 16th bowl, Naruto heard a chuckle from in front of him as he saw an old man with a sun-kissed tan with brown hair and closed eyes as he said, you know Naruto, I would never have imagined you'd bring someone else with an appetite like yours, Naruto, besides your mom. Scratching the back of his head he said, well, anyone could eat as much as me if they had a taste of your food, Tuchijiji, how's I am? She's doing alright, she's just at home sick with a cold, he said, getting a sympathetic look from Naruto. Well then tell her I hope she feels better, how else is this place going to stay open without her pretty face? He asked, getting a chuckle from Tuchi as he took all of Naruto's, Korra's, and Naga's bowls as Naruto placed the money on the table with a tip as the two walked out. Who's I am? Korra asked as she and Naruto rode on the back of Naga as they rode to catch the ferry. I am is Tuchi's daughter and she's like an older sister to me, sweet girl, almost everyone in Republic City loves her and she helps bring in business since she's considered one of the most attractive civilians in Republic City. She's also a fire bender while her father is a earth bender. Her mom used to work there before she passed due to an illness, he said, getting a sad expression from Korra. That's so sad to hear, she said, getting a nod from him. Yeah, but the two are pretty strong, actually. One of the gangs here tried to steal money from them and the two kicked the collective asses of the entire gang by themselves, he said, getting a wide-eyed look from Korra. Seriously? She asked, getting a nod from the teen holding on to her from behind. Yup, I was there when it happened. You see, I was still learning how to water bend and earth bend, so they were looking out for me. Man, I am could kick some ass. She's considered the second Azula with her blue fire bending, he said as Korra looked at him in surprise. Seriously, blue fire, as in the same fire Azula used when she was hunting Avatar Aang down? Korra asked, getting a positive from the boy holding on to her as she tried not to blush. Yup, that very same fire. Tenzin and Granny Katara hypothesized that she's related to her in some form, maybe a great-granddaughter or something since she escaped Aang and the others. At least that's what Kia tells me, Naruto said as they stopped at the dock, allowing the two teenagers hop off Naga's back and step onto the boat as it arrived ahead of schedule. Hours later at the lake. You know Korra, I've noticed your bending has been making a great improvement, Naruto said as the two stretched as per their usual routine. You think so? She asked, getting a positive from the dual element bender as he popped his shoulders. Yup, but just because you're improving doesn't mean we're going to go easy during training, he said, making the Water Tribe girls' shoulders slump when they heard yelling in the distance as they turned to see Mako running towards them. Mako, what are you doing out so late? Naruto asked, watching the fire bender huffing as he bent over with his hands on his knees. Have you seen Bolin? I came home from working at the power plant and he wasn't at our place, so I thought maybe he might be here, Mako asked as Naruto and Korra shared a concerned look. We haven't seen him since we left the bending arena. I really hope nothing bad happened, otherwise this could end bad, Naruto said as he scratched his head. As much as I hate to think it, he has a knack for getting himself into stupid situations. I guess I'll keep looking around, see you guys later, Mako said, walking away before Naruto put a hand on his shoulder. Dude, I know you don't want to think it, but we are friends. If Bolin is in trouble we'll help you look for him, Naruto said as Korra nodded with her arms crossed. Yeah, we can take Naga, she said, getting a curious look from the firebender. Who's Naga? He asked, getting a chuckle from Naruto. My best friend and an amazing tracker, Korra said, drawing a pout from Naruto as he turned to Korra. Ah, and here I thought I was your best friend, Naruto said, looking away in false indignation as the waterbender blushed. Of course you're my best friend, but Naga and I have known each other since we were little. Come on, we can get your bike too. I'll meet you guys at the docks, Korra said as the two boys shrugged as they watched the waterbender run off. Sitting in silence, Mako asked, feeling uncomfortable as he looked at Naruto from the corner of his eye before they walked to the dock. So, who's Naga? Getting a chuckle from the lieutenant of the metal bending force, Naruto said, trust me Mako, you couldn't possibly miss her. Confused, he shrugged as they stopped a short way from the dock where a Future Industries motorcycle sat. As Mako looked at the bike in surprise, you have a Future Industries bike? Chuckling, he nodded. Yeah, it was a birthday present and I've been taking care of her ever since. Nodding, the two boys felt the earth shake lightly as Mako jumped at the sight of the massive polar bear dog with her owner on her back. What the hell is that? Chuckling, Naruto said, rubbing Naga's head, making the mixed species creature's tail wag. I told you Mako, you can't miss her even if you tried. Seeing the ferry, Korra said, come on, we have to hurry, the ferry is coming and I doubt both Naruto and I could water bend the four of us and his motorcycle across the water. I agree, while that would be a good test to see how far my bending has come, I'd rather not drown, Naruto said as the others rode to the ferry as Mako sat behind Korra on Naga. In Republic City. So your best friend is a polar bear dog? Somehow that makes perfect sense, Mako said, sitting on the far back of Naga as Naruto drove at the same speed as Naga so he didn't leave them behind. I'll take that as a compliment, city boy. Besides, Aang had Momo and Appa, why can't I have Naga, she said as she looked out of the corner of her eye at Mako before looking at Naruto watching the wind blow his hair back. As the group of four continued through the street, they stopped in front of a metal statue of Zuko that was holding a ball of fire, making the teens dismount their rides. So why are we here exactly, Mako? Naruto asked as he leaned against Naga with a curious expression on his face. This is Bolan's usual hangout, Mako said as he looked around as he saw a few kids playing around before he approached one. Hey, you kids haven't happened to see my brother around here, have you? Mako asked as the kids stopped playing while the group of teens approached the kids. A kid wearing a newsboy cap said, maybe I have, my memory is a little fuzzy, maybe you can help remind me. Pulling a couple yuan out of his pocket, Mako waited for the boy to continue as he said, I saw him around noon performing some kind of monkey rat circus. It wasn't going well, I could say that much. Getting a sweat drop from Naruto, he thought, seriously Bolan? I told you this wasn't a good idea, man. As the boy was about to continue, he held out his hand, making Mako slap another couple yuan in the kid's hands as he continued. Shady Shin showed up flashing some serious cash in his face, even dropped a couple thousand in his cup. Oh man, not him, Naruto groaned under his breath, making Korra look at him. Who's Shady Shin? The Avatar asked, getting an irritated sigh from Naruto. He's one of the triple threats triad and one of the gangs here in the city. I've come close to slamming his ass in a cell a dozen times, but he's as slick as a freshly waxed turtle duck's shell, Naruto said, drawing attention from the boy as his eyes widened. Oh man, it's the police, I'm out of here. Shin said, running before Naruto thrust his arm out, making water materialize out of air as it dragged the boy back. Cool your engine, Scoochie, I'm off the clock now. Did Bolan go with Shin, and if so, what do you know? I suggest you don't pull the my memory is getting fuzzy trick, otherwise I could put you in prison, Naruto warned, getting a nod from the boy. He left with Shin after he flashed his cash, the boy said before looking around, gesturing for the three teens to draw closer. The triple threats, the Red Monsoons and the Agni Kais, they're all muscling up for something serious. That's all you're getting out of me, he said, running, making Naruto growl, scratching the back of his head. Just great, all three gangs are gathering and it cannot be good by any means, Naruto said with Mako nodding while Korra wore a confused expression. What was he talking about? She asked, making the two boys look at her. A turf war is brewing and Bolan is going to be caught in the center of it. We got to find him and fast, Mako said, getting a nod from Naruto as Naruto got on his motorcycle while Mako got on Naga behind Korra as they left. So where are we heading? Korra asked as they crossed the bridge past the train cars. The Triple Threat Triad's headquarters. Hopefully Bolan is there and nothing has gone down yet, Mako said as Naruto drove behind Naga. The Triple Threat Triad? I knocked some of those clowns around when I first got here, why would Bolan hang around them? She asked as Naga suddenly charged down an alley, making Naruto follow as Naga chased something to a street post before Naruto's vision was blurred, making him stop as he removed what was obstructing his vision to see Pabu. Pabu? Naruto said as he held the little ferret out of Naga's reach before the two started to sniff each other before he jumped on Naga's head and scurried to Mako. If Pabu isn't with Bolin then things really aren't good, Naruto said as Mako told them they have to hurry. Triple threat triad base. Something's wrong, the triple threat usually has thugs posted out front. We got to be careful, Mako said as Naruto parked out front before his shoes shifted to reveal the soles of his shoes before stomping with his eyes closed before they snapped open in alarm. What's wrong? Mako asked as Naruto shook his head in a negative fashion. The place looks like there was a fight in there, it's completely empty, Naruto said as Korra kicked open the doors showing he was telling the truth before they heard motorcycles go on out back, making the 3+ Naga and Pabu go out the back to see a armored truck and several motorcycles in the back with people dressed in bodysuits with glowing goggles drive off. Bolin's inside. Naruto yelled as he ran out to stop them before two of the motorcyclists tossed two canisters obscuring their vision. You guys go on, Naga, I'll be right behind you. Naruto said running back to his motorcycle while Korra called for Naga as they followed after the group with Naruto close behind them as Mako shot a ball of fire at the motorcyclist. As Korra bent the earth beneath one of the equalists he shot into the air thanks to Masked Rider jumping off the impromptu ramp. As they continued to give chase, two equalists tossed some rope making it coil around Naga's legs while the other got tangled in Naruto's will, making the animal and machine lurch forward, making the three riders fly off as they skidded across the ground groaning. That was unpleasant, Naruto said wiping the side of his face as Mako and Korra nodded in agreement while the truck drove off with the rest of the equalists save for 4. If we want to catch them we're going to have to fight these jokers, Naruto said as he charged at the first, flipping before going for a kick which was blocked as he made a pillar of earth fly, knocking the equalist in the stomach as he skidded back before he could hit Naruto's leg. Looking behind him he flipped over a jab kicking the attacker in the back, making him fly to his friend as Naruto said, Mako, Korra, be careful. They're chi blockers, they hit you and it's over. Not giving a reply, Naruto focused on the water in the grate and made it solidify before firing a barrage of needles as he ran behind them, kneeing one of them in the stomach before twisting around to his hands avoiding a blow to the ribs as he spun, kicking them both in the head. Chi blocking, gotta love it in these circumstances, Naruto thought to himself before bending to the side dodging a kick before he locked his leg around the attackers as he delivered a series of quick jabs to the man's side before he spun around to the man's backside, getting his leg before he was kicked in the chest, making him skid back. Ugh, that may have stung but it barely registers as painful compared to all the training Mom and the others put me through for years, Naruto thought as he flipped back as he avoided a foot about to slam into his head from above as he spun around tripping the attacker before using his earth bending as he made a pull to slam into the chi blocker. Before delivering a kick to the pillar making it crack as a large chunk of rock smacked into another equalist's head, making him fall over unconscious. Behind him he felt flashes of heat making him look out of the corner of his eye to see Korra and Mako try and fire bend against the equalist chi blockers only for them to be knocked to the ground after receiving a barrage of quick jabs. Running to Korra and the others he jabbed the third equalist in the ribs and between his shoulders, making him fall to his knees before he heard Naga, making him turn to see Naga charge at the man behind him, making the equalists jump back tossing smoke screen as they jumped on their motorcycles driving off in the smoke, grabbing the two. Naruto knocked out. Trying to shoot a fireball, Korra said alarmed, why can't I bend? As Naruto placed his hand on her shoulder he said, calm down, those guys are chi blockers, they hit you the way they did and they can stop you from bending, they work for Amon. Before chi blocking became what it was thanks to Amon, it was once used by a girl named Tai Lee, one of the two girls who once assisted Azula in chasing down Fire Lord Zuko, Iroh and the Avatar with Granny Toph. Wait, Amon, that anti-bending guy with the mask? She asked, getting a nod from the scarf-wearing boy. That's him, Amon, he runs the equalists. What they want with the triple threats I don't know, Mako said, getting a groan from Naruto. And here I thought we'd finally manage to gather some information, damn it. Naruto exclaimed as he slammed his fist into the ground, making a crater around his fist with spider web cracks forming around his fist. Man, he's stronger than I thought, I gotta remember to not say something that will get me killed when around him, Mako thought as he sighed, smacking his forehead with his palm. I can't believe Bolin got caught up in all this, he exclaimed, making Naruto put a calm hand on the fire bender's shoulder. Dude, calm down, we'll find him, Let's take a look around the city, maybe we can find some sort of lead, Naruto said as Korra nodded, agreeing with him, making the firebender sigh before agreeing as he got on Naga's back with Korra while Naruto removed the rope from the front wheel, making him follow after Korra and Mako. Time skip, end of the night. Stopping at a random alley, Korra slightly pulled back on Naga's reins, allowing the exhausted mixed breed to breathe as she plopped to the floor while Naruto stopped as he removed the key from his motorcycle. Stretching as she popped her back, Korra said, "We've been looking all night and there's no sign of him." In his exhausted state, Mako said, "We have to keep looking, but where?" Yawning, Naruto said with rings under his eyes, "We've looked all over the city and haven't come across so much as a tire track. If any of you know somewhere we haven't been, I'm all for it." "I know where a spot we haven't been to yet," Korra said as she patted Naga, making her get up, making Naruto and Mako look at each other with a raised eyebrow before shrugging as Naruto revved up his motorcycle following after Korra and Mako. Republic City Park. Stopping in front of the fountain, Naga and Pabu drank from the water. Naruto dipped his face into the water before pulling it back out as he breathed in relief, sitting next to Korra with Mako on her right while Naruto wrung out his hair. "When I first came to Republic City, I ran into a equalist protester," she said, pointing ahead of her at a vacant spot. "And you believe this protester might know where Bolin is?" Mako asked, getting a nod from her as Naruto sighed. "I hate to say this, especially when it sounds like I'm giving up, but me, Mom and the rest of the police force have tried interrogating them and they never gave of any useful information. That or gave us false leads. If he does speak, you'd have to be really certain it's the truth," Naruto said, stretching as he popped his back. "Either way, it's our only lead right now. Naruto, what's with the bag anyway?" Korra said as she and Mako noticed the bag slung over his shoulder. "My police uniform I carried with me because I felt we'd be out looking for Bolin all night and wanted to be dressed ahead of time," Naruto said as he got up, walking behind a tall bush, changing into his uniform as he saw Korra and Mako sitting against Naga, making him rest against her hind leg. "So why is Bolin running around with the triple threat triad anyway?" Korra asked, making the two male teens sigh. "You want to tell her, Naruto?" Mako asked, getting a shrug. "If you want, will you see, Korra, Mako and Bolin used to do work for them back in the day and no, they aren't criminals, Korra. They ran numbers for the triple threats, pretty much the only thing they could do since they were orphans out on the street doing what they had to in order to survive and for him to protect Bolin," Naruto said, getting a nod from the firebender. "I can honestly say if it were me in Mako's position, I'd do the same thing. If I have to look out for my brother, I'd do whatever was necessary. In fact, when I found them, I bumped into them while they were working and booked them. They got a minor sentence, but they were okay, and I then showed Bolin and Mako the pro bending place where they could work and practice their bending and have live," Naruto said as he scratched his head. I am sorry, can I ask what happened to your parents?" Korra asked, making both Mako and Naruto look at her while Mako wasn't expecting it and was reluctant. Naruto was curious as well since neither Bolin nor Mako told him. Looking at Korra, he said, pulling up his scarf, "They were mugged by a firebender. He cut them down right in front of me and I was 8 at the time. Bolin is all the family I have left. If something happened to him, I don't know what I'd do." "If this is the same protester I think you're talking about, Korra, then we better get some sleep, at least this way we be somewhat rested," Naruto said as the others nodded as Naruto and the others pushed themselves deeper into Naga's side. A few hours later. The sight many passerbys came across was the golden boy Naruto sleeping against the avatar with her head on his lap and his hand on her hip while Mako was lying on Naga's front paw using her head as a pillow until they were woken up by the yelling of a megaphone, making the three teens open their eyes as Naruto looked down, making his eyes meet Korra's before they moved from each other with a blush, ignoring the silent chuckle Mako sent their way. Hearing the yelling again, they heard "Equality now. Equality now. We want equality now. Point across the bridge," as he stretched. Naruto said, "I take it he's the guy you saw when you came here?" She nodded as they listened to the protester, who had wide sideburns, wearing gray, black and white clothes, non-benders of Republic City. "Amon calls you to take back your city." Walking forward, they saw the protester standing on a wood table before he gasped, saying with his megaphone pointing at Naruto and Korra, "It's you again. You cannot silence me, Avatar, not even with those benders you brought along with you." Smacking the megaphone out of his hands, breaking it, she said, "Shut up and listen. Mako's brother was kidnapped by chi blockers. Where did they take them?" I have nothing to say, he said before he felt Naruto's hand on his shoulder, making him turn to see the glaring eyes of the dark-haired teen as he noticed Naruto's eyes shift to a red color with slitted pupils before changing back to their normal color. I doubt your family will be too willing to get you out of prison after them having to do this the last 20 times they saved your hide. I can take you to prison right now with this evidence alone, Naruto said, making the man sweat. What evidence, he said as Korra stomped on the ground, making the table fly in the air, making the stacks of papers on the table fly around the area while Naruto snatched one from the air, seeing a segment of a map and Amon's illustration on it. You are working with Amon, and Amon leads the Equalist which kidnapped Mako's brother Bolin. If you refuse to cooperate, I will take you in for questioning, and seeing as we're in need of information on Equalist and Amon, I can assure you the council will find you guilty along with your friend here and hold you both for possibly years. Is losing your family and friends worth staying in prison for someone who might not come to save your hide? For all we know, the council may pin the crimes Amon and the Equalist has committed on you too, Naruto said, holding one of the flyers that fell to the ground. Picking a flyer off the ground, Mako read, "Witness the revelation tonight 9 o'clock. What's the revelation?" Keeping his mouth shut, his silent friend spoke up, saying, "Nobody knows what the revelation is, and we honestly don't know what happened to your friend, I swear, but if he's a bender then the spirits aren't on his side at the moment." Jean. The frightened protester said, getting raised hands from the now spoken Jean as he turned to his friend. "I'm not losing my wife and daughter just because you don't want to talk mushy. You want to end up in prison, that's on you. I'd like to see my daughter and wife, thank you," he said as Naruto turned to Jean as he let go of Mushy. "Thank you, Jean, I appreciate your cooperation. Do you know anything about this map piece on the back?" Naruto asked, showing the flyer as the man took hold of it, looking. "The map piece is a secret location that holds the revelation. If you find it then you can see the event. It's why the police never found anything," he said, making Naruto nod as he and his mom were part of the many raids as they found nothing every time. "That's all we wanted, but just so you know, not all benders are bad. I'll agree there are many of us who oppress non-benders, but many of us have no desire to cause harm, only to protect. I hope many of you will realize this someday," Naruto said as he and the others made their way back over to Naga and his bike as Pabu stood on the seat chattering at Naga. "Since it's morning, how about we get something in our stomach? We can't plan without something to eat," Naruto said as their stomachs roared in agreement. "Good idea, we got to figure out what this map piece goes to. It has to be something specific," Mako said as he vaulted on the back of Naga while Naruto's motorcycle roared to life as they made their way to a place to eat. "At the ramen stand. Why don't they mark the location on these things?" Korra asked, polishing off her 5th bowl of ramen while Mako was on his 3rd. Naruto downed his 8th bowl. "It's like Jean said, they don't want the police or a league of benders trying to find them," Naruto said as he looked at the couple flyers Mako grabbed as they left. "We know it's a segment of a map, but Amon might try and put it somewhere else. For all we know, it could be outside Republic City," the firebender said as he looked at the single red marker that adorned the map before he picked them up, holding pieces together. "What if it's a puzzle? Look at the flyers, they all cut off at certain points, but if you do it like this," Korra said, taking the pieces Mako had and the pieces Naruto had and held them in a certain way, making a larger image. "Then it becomes a larger map, but now that you hold it up I swear I've seen that section before," Naruto said before he turned to Tucci. "Hey old man, do you happen to have a map of Republic City lying around?" he asked, getting a nod from the chef as he went in back as Korra and Mako looked at him. "Why do you want a map of Republic City? Didn't you say it probably wasn't here?" Mako asked, getting a nod from Naruto. "I did, but when I saw how the pieces fit together it formed a portion of the map that rung a bell with me," Naruto said as Tucci came in with a map of the city as Naruto thanked him before he took the pieces from Korra and glided them across the map before stopping over a matching section. "That's where it's happening, in the industrial district, but if we're going to save Bolin we'll need disguises, and as mad as I am to say, only the 3 of us can do this," Naruto said, making Korra and Mako look at him. "Why?" Korra asked, with Mako just as curious. "Think about it. Yeah, it's likely groups are going to go there together, but if we brought the police force they'd need their suits like I would, but I'm used to espionage missions. If we came by the net full the place would clear out fast," Naruto said, making Mako nod, understanding him. "And if that happened they'd take the captives somewhere else and do whatever they're doing in private, or worse," Mako finished, getting a nod from Naruto. Like I said, I'm no fan of this idea as much as you two, but if we want to save Bolin, this is our only choice, Naruto said as he stared at the others. I know just the disguises, Korra said with a glint in her eyes, making Naruto and Mako look at each other with a nervous expression. In the industrial district. I can't believe you got me wearing this get-up, Mako said as he held a fake cane with black-tinted glasses hiding what appeared to be a burn going over his eyes, covering his eyes, wearing a beige jacket that clasped shut on the right and hat. Oh, lighten up, besides you want to save Bolin, don't you? Korra asked, wearing a similar jacket with the sleeves rolled up, wearing a cream-colored hat with a green leaf on the hem of the hat in addition with Mako's scarf. Yeah, brother, besides we're in and then we're out, Naruto said, wearing a black jacket with a red wig and makeup covering his whisker marks and a scar going over his right eye which was partially covered by his hair, as they turned to see everyone make their way to the building in front of them. Everyone remember our cover story in case we're confronted by equalists? Naruto asked, getting a nod from the two. Of course I do, Korra came up with the crazy idea. You're my older brother who was injured fighting a couple of benders, and I was blinded by a fire bender, and I live with you and your fiancé who was orphaned because of one of the triad at a young age, Mako said as he saw a blush form on Korra's and Naruto's cheeks. Good, now let's go. The sooner we get Bolin, the sooner I can get this makeup and these clothes off. I'm burning up in these things, Naruto said as he had his hand on Mako's shoulder while Korra held onto his left arm and her head on his shoulder. As they walked towards the building, they were stopped by a large heavy-set man. Crossing his arms, he said, glaring at the three, this is a private event and you're not getting in without an invitation. Invitation, sweetie, you have one, don't you? Korra asked, looking at her boyfriend, who looked around in his pockets before Mako coughed, making the three turn to the blind boy who was holding up the flyer. You told me to hold on to it, remember? Mako said, making the two teens sigh in relief. I forgot I said that, bro, thanks. This is what you were talking about, right? Naruto said, taking the paper from his brother as the man nodded. That's it. Now tell me, what are a couple of kids doing out here? The man asked, making Naruto sigh in exasperation. Well, we hate benders, the whole lot of them. When my brother Rin and I were orphaned by a fire bender who murdered our parents when we were 6 and blinded my brother while I got this scar over my eye. My girlfriend was also orphaned because benders killed her parents not too recently. We want them gone just as much as anyone here, Naruto said with a glare which got sympathetic looks from the group behind them and the imposingly large man in front of them as he stepped aside. The revelation is upon us, my brothers and sister, he said with a smile which they returned as they walked inside, maneuvering through the halls to see a large party of civilians standing on the ground floor across from a stage decorated with banners. I knew people hated benders, but this many is ridiculous, Naruto said, hanging his head as he shook it lightly while Korra tightened her grip. We have to keep our eyes out for Bolin, he's around here somewhere, Mako said, getting a nod from the others as the group of teens made their way to heart of the group. As soon as they reached the heart of the crowd, from nowhere they heard as the center of the stage opened up with smoke rising, please welcome your hero. Your savior. Amon. Rising from the floor were several equalists with a man wearing a detailed uniform with 2 rods on his back. The man standing in the front wore dark colors with a hood slightly shading a porcelain white mask with eye holes and a red sun on the forehead. As everyone saw him, the crowd went wild before he raised his hand to silence them, saying, my quest for equality many years ago. When I was a boy, my family and I lived on a small farm. We weren't rich and none of us were benders. Listening to him speak, Naruto heard Mako whisper, dude knows how to entrance people, doesn't he? Giving a faint nod, Amon continued, with us not being benders, this made us easy targets for the firebender who extorted my father, but one day my father confronted this man. But when he confronted the firebender, that man took my family away from me and then he took my face. I had been forced to hide behind a mask ever since. Looking to Korra, he could see the surprised look on her face as he continued, as you all know, the Avatar has recently arrived in Republic City. At the mention of Korra, the crowd began to hiss and boo at the mention of her as he said, and if she were here she'd tell you that bending brings balance to the world, but she's wrong, as the only thing bending brought to the world is suffering. It has been the cause of every war, in every era. But that is about to change, this I can assure you. I know you have been wondering what is the revelation. Well, I can say you are about to get your answer. Since the beginning of time the spirits have acted as guardians of our world and they have spoken to me. They say the Avatar has failed humanity, Amon said as Naruto winced, feeling Korra tighten her grip on Naruto's arm as her nails dug into his arm. That is why the spirits have chosen me to usher in a new era of balance. They have granted me a power that will make equality a reality, and that power is to take a person's bending away, permanently, he said, getting disbelieving looks from Naruto and Korra. That's impossible. There's no way, Korra said as Mako agreed with her while Naruto stared straight ahead at the man in front of him whose eyes connected with his for a brief moment before he continued to look amongst the crowd. And now for a demonstration, please welcome Lightning Bolt Zolt, leader of the Triple Threat Triad and one of the most notorious criminals in Republic City. The police have tried to capture him time and again only for him to escape, Amon said as a man wearing a gray suit with the top part being bright yellow with a lightning bolt decal as the crowd booed when more equalists brought him more of the Triple Threat Triad, with Bolin making the three teens' eyes widen. As Korra was about to make a charge for him, Naruto gripped her shoulder, making her turn before flinching at his eyes, seeing as they were bright red with slitted pupils, as he said, "We can't just charge in, not with Amon and the guy with the sticks on his back. A couple of chi blockers I could handle no problem, but with their leader and some second in command I'm guessing we have to be tactical about this." Looking at him she said, "Then I'm all for whatever plan you can come up with, oh Captain. Already got one, just follow my lead, both of you. When I make a move do as I instruct," Naruto said, making the two nod when they heard Amon speak. Zolt has amassed a fortune by extorting and abusing non-benders, but his reign of terror is about to come to an end, Amon said as the crowd cheered. Nodding to one of the equalists with him he said as the chi blocker started to untie the ropes around Zolt's wrists, "Now in the interest of fairness I will give Zolt the chance to fight to keep his bending." Confident Zolt shot several fireballs that Amon dodged effortlessly, making his way to the firebender when Zolt fired a bolt of lightning which the masked group leader ducked, grabbing the extended limb as he manually aimed Zolt's wrist to the sky as he grabbed the back of Zolt's neck, making him look up. Placing his thumb on the Triple Threat leader's forehead he positioned his pointer finger to the man's temple as everyone watched with rapt attention, awaiting to see what was to come before the constant stream of lightning ebbed to a roar of fire until it was snuffed out, making Amon let go of the gang leader, who fell face first in a heap. Stepping back he allowed Zolt to stand before he punched forward, hoping for a fireball only to get nothing as he collapsed to the ground as Amon announced, "Your firebending is gone forever. The era of bending is over and a new era of equality has begun." The crowd cheered as they grabbed the man who Bolin left with, kicking him forward as Naruto said, "Now you all remember the plan?" Getting a nod, Mako said, "Yeah, those machines are powered by water and steam. While you and Korra distract them with the steam, I'll grab Bolin and we duck out of here." Nodding in satisfaction, Naruto grabbed Korra by her wrist as he gently guided her through the crowd before they entered a hallway filled with pipes and valves which the two twisted, making steam spew from the sides of the pipes. "Hey, what are you two doing here?" they heard a familiar voice say, making them turn to see the man who stood out front approaching them. "Is there a problem, my brother?" Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. "What are you two doing here?" "This place is restricted," the large man said, making Naruto give an embarrassed chuckle as he scratched the back of his head. "Well, you see, my brother really had to go to the bathroom. I tried to tell him to hold it, but he had to have had 6 cups of tea earlier before we left. I guess now he'll listen to me from now on," Naruto said with an embarrassed chuckle, making the man stare at him before looking to the steam. "And the pipes?" he asked, making the two look as Korra stepped forward. "When we came over here my boyfriend saw they were smoking, so he was trying to cut off the flow and prevent a problem. That's the kind of man he is, always so helpful," she said, patting his cheek with a loving smile. "I see, but why exactly is he—" the man started before Naruto sighed in exasperation as he delivered a quick jab to the side of his neck, knocking him unconscious, falling to a heap. "He asks too many questions. Now come on, we need to hurry," Naruto said, getting a nod from Korra as they proceeded to twist the valves, making more small streams of steam to pour out before Naruto groaned in annoyance before he did a spin kick, hitting a pair of pipes with his metal shoes, making the tops of the pipes come off as the room began to fill with it. "I think this should be enough," Korra said, getting a nod from Naruto as the two began to bend the steam out of the hall and into the room with Mako. "Come on, Naruto, Korra, they're getting there." "About to do, Bolin," Mako thought as he squeezed between people as he started to reach the front when the machines Naruto pointed out exploded, making the room fill with steam and the screams of the people inside, allowing Mako to run through, tossing an equalist who was restraining Mako off him and off the Stage. You alright? Mako asked, getting a hug from his brother as they ran out a nearby door and down the ladder when Mako saw a shadow above him as he saw the man with the sticks as he stabbed them into the ladder, causing a surge of electricity to course through them, making them let go as they fell. Jumping off, the attacker attempted to slam the sticks into the ground, making a surge of electricity to fly around him, only for Mako and Bolin to dodge it at the last second before Mako shot a ball of fire at the man, which he dodged, taking a few swings with his sticks as he swept Mako's feet from under him and slammed his other stick into the firebender's chest. Seeing what happened to his brother, Bolin sent large chunks of earth at the attacker, which were avoided effortlessly with flips and cartwheels before the grown man charged forward, much to Bolin's terror. In an attempt to avoid the man, Bolin created an earth wall which the man jumped over, delivering quick blows with the sticks before jabbing Bolin with both, keeping them on him as the earthbender spasmed before falling to the ground as Mako slid along the side of the wall as he spun, creating an arc of fire which the attacker dodged before getting into a close-range fight before his stun baton slammed into Mako's chest, making him yell in pain before he fell to the ground. "You benders need to understand that there's no place in the world for the likes of you anymore," he said before a slanted pillar of earth slammed into his chest, making him fly into the wall as Naruto and Korra came from around the corner. "You know, after kidnapping our friend, we imagined we could just walk away from this and share a long healthy chuckle after this was over, but attacking our friends? Oh, see, now we have a bit of a problem," Naruto said, shedding his disguise along with Korra, calling Naga as Naruto picked up Bolin while she picked up Mako as they jumped on the polar bear dog. "Are they following us?" Korra asked, making Naruto turn to see nothing as he held on tight to Korra's midsection, drawing a blush from the dark-skinned water tribe girl, feeling him holding on to her. "Nothing's following us, thank the spirits for that. Come on, we can take them to the temple," Naruto said, getting a nod from the dark-haired teen as they rode in silence. "You do know we'll be chewed out by Mom and Tenzin for being out for 2 whole nights and a whole day?" Naruto said, getting a groan from the avatar. "Don't remind me," she said as they rode in silence. Air Temple Island. "What do you mean you still haven't found them?" Tenzin and Lin exclaimed at the White Lotus members before they heard a cough from behind them, making them turn to see Naruto and Korra with deep rings under their eyes leaning against each other to keep the other upright. At the look on the two benders, any form of anger they had was replaced with worry, seeing the disheveled look the two held as Korra had bruises along her body while Naruto was covered in some as well after he removed his armor. "What happened to you two? Are you alright?" Tenzin asked as the two teens shook their heads, allowing the two White Lotus members that were being chewed out by the two adults to run while Naruto and Korra fell to the ground in exhaustion. Well, during practice Korra and her team was told they needed 30,000 yuan to enter the tournament and they were short, so they were looking for a way to make money. Skip to the drama. Bolin ended up going with Shady Shin, he said, making Lin look at him. "Of the triad?" she exclaimed, getting a positive from him as he continued his tale, drawing worried looks from the two as he told them of Bolin being kidnapped by the Equalists and them looking around the city trying to find Bolin all night before coming across the first ever lead they got related to Amon. "So those protesters hold information that can lead to them?" Tenzin said, getting a positive from the others before they were then consumed with worry when they were told how many anti-benders attended the revelation before the story reached its climax. The place was filled with chi blockers, and worst of all, Amon was there, and he can take away a person's bending away, for good, Korra said, making the two grown adults look at the two in surprise before Lin bust out into a laugh. "Good one, Avatar, but only Avatar Aang could do that along with you," she said before stopping, seeing the two teens with a grave expression on their faces. "You're serious, aren't you?" she asked, getting a nod from the two. "We saw him take away Zolt's bending with our own eyes along with the rest of the triple threats. We barely escaped with Bolin. It's dangerous trying to storm a place like that without extensive planning, and it might not be possible because of the stunt we pulled. He might have come up with a different means of protection, as much as I hate to say this. But Amon isn't some run-of-the-mill thug or gang leader. He has a cult willing to go at any means to do as he said, and they will follow through with whatever he says," Naruto said, scratching his head in exasperation. "With Amon, he isn't going to stop until every bender, be it man, woman or small child, has their bending stripped from them. As long as Amon is out there, no bender is safe," Tenzin said as the others nodded before hearing a groan come from Naruto as he clutched his side, making his mother go into protective mother mode as she lifted her son's white shirt. up slightly to see his toned stomach was covered in bruises. What happened in there, son? She asked, getting a groan as he tried to stand to his feet. Well, with the lack of proper sleep for nearly 2 whole days and only a couple bowls of ramen from Ichiraku's, I wasn't exactly mentally prepared to fight, Naruto said as he was about to fall again before Korra met his other side. Kneeling down, Tenzin took a tentative touch to the young boy's chest, making him wince in pain as he said, it seems Amon's equalists cracked a few ribs. If Kia were here she'd be able to help heal them, but for now your natural healing is going to have to go into overdrive. Go to sleep and get some rest. Lin, do you think you can bandage Korra and Naruto up? Nodding, she led the 2 teens to their room. She bandaged her son and said, son, you really got to be more careful. Wincing as she finished wrapping up her son's chest as he said, don't worry mom, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Besides, I'm a Bei Fong, I'm made of tougher stuff and it would take more to do me in than a simple set of cracked ribs. I know it's just first I lost your father and you're all I got left. I don't know what I'd do if I lost you, she said, getting a chuckle from him. Well, good thing we'll never have to find out, huh mom? I mean, really, who else would cook your favorite ramen if I wasn't around? I mean, yeah, Ichiraku's makes the best ramen in Republic City, but they can't recreate the flavors you like, Naruto said, yawning as she chuckled seeing her son rub his eyes like when he was a child. Get some sleep, son, she said, getting a nod from her son as he yawned, lying back as she kissed his forehead before walking out of his room, making her way to Korra's room as she saw the avatar finish up her wrappings. Oh hey Lin, how's Naruto? Korra asked, getting a sigh from the mother as she leaned against the doorway. He's fine. One thing I've learned about my son is that he's a workhorse, and despite being only human he spreads himself too far out. It's one of his most admirable yet troublesome traits. He could go days, possibly weeks without sleep because he has obligations, and he'd feel that whatever is currently happening holds greater importance than his own safety, she said, chuckling. One time he helped a few people out of a burning building as they escaped, but he broke his leg in the process, leaving him bedridden for a while. What I want to say is I'm happy you had Naruto's back. He's a good guy and he needs people to look out for him. At first when I looked at you I thought you were a troublemaker, but now I know Naruto couldn't be in safer hands, she said, hugging Korra before pulling back. Thank you Korra, and get some sleep, Lin said, closing Korra's door, leaving a shell-shocked avatar in her bed. Now I know I'm hurt because Lin usually gives me the stink eye, the avatar thought before falling back into her bed as the events of the last 2 days crashed down on her, forcing her to fall asleep. End chapter. So this part ends here. If you want to see next part of this series, like the video now, and share the story with your friends. Bye bye.